G'day punters, welcome to the mailbag preview for the meeting at Flemington, August 11, Ori Star Day. Drewsy's here, which is good.
Looking forward to it.
Nick Noonan's here, which is fantastic also. So let's, without further ado, kick off. Mountain Yard Mail, Drew.
Yeah, so Dicko's back, Flemington, looking forward to it. He's been really edgy, I think, just to get back in the yard.
Yeah, old shit britches has had a big week, couple of weeks away, sunning himself on the French Riviera and the like, so he must have been finding some winners somewhere.
Yeah. And then we've got obviously Rob at Rose Hill. He's had a really good 2 weeks and hopefully can continue that.
Yep.
And Pete from Belmont, obviously they had 2 delays, but got back to it on Wednesday and had a really good meeting considering a heavy 8. So
I was speaking to Pete. Anyone who gets the stuff might have realised he's big, when he's written big bets in the text, they've been really successful. I know they haven't been luxury odds, but there's nothing wrong with taking $2.80, $2.90 at odds, $1.50 shot. But no, Pete's been
got $2.50 for that ex-Victorian Crystal Spirit. Its form, if it turned up in the yard, and I know that
I think it was $2.90 on the fair or something like that.
I got $2.50 is all I know late. Yeah. And those type of horses, I guarantee you, and this is not having a go at anyone who does mounting yard from other states, but when a Victorian horse goes to Sydney and when a Victorian horse goes to Perth, you generally find that they're not looking for them as much as they would be for their own ones that they know, right? And same happens down here. I'm sure, don't want to put anyone in it or that, but when they find them, they generally win.
Yeah. No, that was good because it put food on the table for myself, which makes me happy.
I wasn't wanting to bet big and then saw that come through. Open the shoulders.
Right, as I said, let's get in and out. Let's not make the punters wait. Race 1 at Flemington, I think there's been a cat thrown amongst the pigeons because we've just heard word that 60's Groove is scratched. So that leaves the favourite being Crocodile Rock.
Straight off the press, so breaking news here as well.
Yeah, possibly so. I think it might have come from Nick Noonan too, but he said to me when we walked in, mate, the 60's Groove won't be running. And then a few other bits and pieces come through. But look, it's going to be the 2 horses of Lloyd's at the top of the market, I believe. And the speed map's a bit... it's a slow speed. Crocodile Rock probably leads. My Nordic Hero will be up there as well. It might be a bit of a muddling tempo for a bloke like me who's done no form. So, Nick, what do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, well, tempo is predicted to be slow. Interesting to see what they do with Crocodile Rock. Like, they took a sit last start. Horse generally doesn't like slow tempos. His best runs are where they go sort of brutal tempos early and he can really run home. Look at his sort of first career win here in Australia, went 10 above early, 18 above when he won at Sandown, and then when he runs second to Almandin, they go 16 above early. With the slow predicted tempo here, he's the likely leader. I wonder what price he gets to now, 60's Grooves out of the race.
Well, even money, 50%, that brings him into 240 at the current prices.
Yeah.
240, 5 to 2 Kilimanjaro. Yeah, Serenade the Stars, yeah, bit $354, just off the top of my head, but everything sort of halves in price.
I think with this horse, they have to roll along with him. If he's going to be out in front leading, I don't think they can try and hold him up for a cheap sectional because that's sort of not when he races his best. That's just we outlined there. Dangers, I don't know if there really is a lot here. Kilimanjaro maybe, but he hasn't had that sort of 2,500 metre run. He's only second up. Serenade the Stars, maybe. I just saw it from the mounting yard though, Crocodile Rock their last start. I laid him just because of what I saw in the mounting yard. I'm not sort of no expert or anything, but he sweated up. He didn't look ready to go. There was like 2 key negatives there for mine. So I think coming into this race, 60's Groove out. Interested to see what happens here. If Team Williams say they're going to roll forward and lead on him, here's a bet. If they don't, staying clear.
I think this is a really muddling race, as you said. I think there'll be some declarations in the media of what they're going to do. I think that's the most important thing that we have to wait for. There's no other option apart from rolling along with Crocodile Rock, in my opinion. And if they get it wrong, it's going to have no chance. Kilimanjaro can run home, so it's got a bit more chance. But with 60's Groove out of the race, I think that was the obvious bet here, was 60's Groove. I think you kind of have to wait and see. I know the Hayes stable have a big opinion of this Jamer horse, and I would not be surprised to see that one being the horse that's bet on the day. I think the horse you want to take on is Serenade the Stars. I just don't think it's good enough for this, and it's being shortened in the prices. But
so is anyone betting here?
At this stage, I'll be staying out. Yeah.
Well, if they do go slow, Serenade the Stars probably suited, because that's when he likes it, when they go at a slow tempo early. He's sort of close enough to strike, like we saw in that race last start where he beat Crocodile Rock. I'd just be suggesting though, Crocodile Rock, what I saw in the yard and just the race he had to do from the middle stages of that race, sort of what they call like a mid-race squeeze really. I think he's going to take a lot of improvement from that run and be near ready to go.
So is anyone betting? No.
No.
No, righto. Race 2. Let's get stuck into this. Right, we've got a shorty here in Prezado, $2.25. Bandipore, $3.60. Invincible L, $4.40. The rest are double figures. Speed map wise, well, it's a straight race. Sunday Escape would probably lead. It's the clear leader. Huge Action will be close to the pace as well. A lot of them will get back here. Like we've got this Prezado, Invincible L. I think Bandipore will sit more midfield. Yeah. But righto, Nick, fire up again, mate.
Well, they've had a bit of fun here, haven't they? The jump out watches. As much as $6.50 was bet early. It's into as short as $2.20 now. Prezado, I think he's a bit over bet for mine. He has jumped out very well. Like coming into this race and coming into the day, I thought he was probably near the best bet of the day, but he's got into the wrong price now at around sort of $2.20. I had him in Bandipore as the two, sort of $3 a piece. Was taking on Invincible L. Maybe Huge Action at a price. He can be rolling up on the speed. He's sort of got some figures and some form lines that would tie him into this race. He has some form lines around horse like Pleasant, which he beat at Bendigo, and then you sort of look back through it. Pleasant at Bendigo, William Thomas Sunquan. Like it's sort of that similar form lines to which Bandipore and also Prezado do have. I think if you're looking to take a price Prezado, I wouldn't be backing him now. He could get out from that price considering he is probably just overbet early. But they looked at two, Prezado and Bandipore.
Righto, Druzy.
Bandipore, 1,000 metres, suited, loves a good track. Best run last prep was at Flemington down the straight, 1,000 metres. Returned in sensational order up at Randwick.
I shouldn't even ask you what you were tipping. It's got a blue jacket on. Anything else other than the blue jacket?
I would say barrier's the issue.
They are flying though, the blue jackets.
They are. When they're sending them down here, you back them.
But Drew only wants blue jacket, like whatever, royal blue and navy blue, you know. Lloyd and what do you?
Anyway, can't go wrong. Invincible L ran its best run for the last 10 starts last start. Big query if it can repeat that effort. Prezado, I think Tab just put up the wrong price. It's been overbet. They've shortened it way too much. It'll drift out. Look, second to nature strip. You can't dismiss it on what it's done in the past, and obviously it's trialled very well. So, I can understand where the money's come, but it will drift. And yeah, I'd just say Costa Bomb. I think they'll probably keep firm at the price. The kind of blowout chance. And what price are we getting up for another number 10? Retorno. I just think
$26.
What I've seen from it, I think it can keep on improving, and I would not be surprised to see it in the finish at the odds.
Yeah, well, as I said, I haven't really looked over this race that well, but I thought Invincible L was in the wrong part of the track last start, and fourth run in with some residual fitness. I thought it was well in this race. So, so is anyone betting again?
Well.
So yes or no? Yes, no.
Yeah, I'll be betting.
You're betting? What are you backing?
I'll be backing Prezado to beat Bandipore.
Righto, Drew.
I'll have something small in the number 10 to place at this stage.
And I'm happy to back Invincible L. So let's go to race 3 and into them. Righto, what have we got here? This is a lot more open of a race. Ruben Blur looks the favourite at $5. A Musselbrook, $7. Otato or Artate, no, it's not Tarte, not Tarte sauce. So the New Zealand sort of name.
Otordo,
$7. East India Man, $8. And is there anything down the bottom here? Yes, Sargent with Drew's Royal Blue Jacket, $5. And Zaydin with Damien Oliver aboard, $6.50. So 4-1 the field in the old school. Speed map wise, we've got pace from Sargent looks the leader from Tavasan, De Grammy, Lashambi, another bit, all close by. Into him, Nick.
Yeah, I think the lay of the day comes up here in Ruben Bleu. know a few people are keen on this horse. He's sort of on. He's been running in the metro grade races, which usually are a good guide, and he has that Tony Nakoni form, but he's yet to break sort of par for the level. When saying that would be benchmark. He's never really put a figure on the board compared to a few of these other horses who are coming through the provincials. So I was with them over him. I had him much bigger than the market. Had him early. Speaking of the early betting, Torto's been back. He's been 15 into sort of $8, I think now, or $7. Should have taken the price because I like him here. Liked his first up win there at Cranbourne. I was there on the day. I liked him from the mounting yard. Didn't end up backing him because he had the bandages on him behind, and I thought he may need the run.
The old bandages.
Got a little bit out of him in play there, but it was a good win, and he's posted some good figures as well out of the win. I think it was around 8 lengths above for that last 600 above the standard for the class and distance at the track and the like. So that was a really good win by him. Big tick coming to Flemington, big tick up to 1400 metres. And then the other horse I sort of found was also one at Cranbourne last start in Tabberson from the Mick Price team. Led there, was sort of well backed, and he started firm in the market. He's drawn barrier 13 here. He's going to come across. He's probably going to lead. Zach Spain's riding in good enough form lately, I reckon. He's not one of mine, but I think he's turning the corner.
Don't say it or he'll ride a treble.
I've seen him ride a few out.
I hope he does, because I'll be having something on. We've got this because I backed it last week. I think he's on it as well. But I
think just on leaders, I've seen him lately, especially in the bush where he's gone to the front and gave them every possible chance. This horse is going to be in that spot, leading. Bred a pretty handy sort of field there last start. I got a bit of time for the horses in behind him when they step out in provincial grade. So at around $13, I'll be sort of specking those two each way. And as I said, taking on Ruben Blue. Got to respect Musselbrook. He's got the form lines on the board. May need a run though. And then Zardin also has that good form around Leonardo da Vinci. Problem with him was the map, but he can run well. Competitive race, but yeah, with the horses at a bit of value.
I'll sort of cut in here. I pot jockeys all the time, as people would have seen and heard. The apprentices always sort of seem to find themselves all right when they're on leaders.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to think. They just go to the top and hope it holds on.
Yeah.
When they've got to map the race, I mean, it's not just Zach Spain, or it's not just whoever else I've potted, which is
Chris Caserta.
Yeah, he's a nice, good bloke, Chris Caserta, and they're all trying. It's funny when you bump into people. Like as I said, a lot of these kids, they're learning their craft.
Yeah,
it's
that's why they're apprentices.
It is, but I mean, it's one thing about potting. I could get on here and say, Ty Vickery got potted relentlessly. Jack Watts has been potted relentlessly, and no one cares about the AFL. But as soon as you pot a jockey, they jump down you, jump into you. I think if they're professional sportsmen, they should be able to cop some type of constructive criticism that I'll give on this show. But if apprentices are leading on horses,
he's sort of only got one option here. He's drawn barrier 13, leader's gate, as some people say, and the horse led in its other start. So.
Oh yeah. I'm just saying
actually,
I'm just bringing the conversation back on myself, which is normal.
I totally agree.
Yeah, stroke my ego a bit and all that sort of shit. But anyway, Drew, sorry mate. What do you reckon?
I'm quite confident here, so I'll just quickly talk through a couple of runners that I think are chances. So obviously Ruben Blur, I think it's the wrong price. Of the two hay stable runners, I'd prefer Musselbrook. If you'll give me an option of the two, and I think it's probably slightly overs in the race. Zaydan, you can obviously make a case for that. Sandown race is hot. Ollie on, barrier 5, it's just suited. But the one runner that I think no one's going to find on the day, and I'm a bit of a forgiving guy, and you have to forgive its last two starts, but the runner's from the McAvoy yard called Croquette. It's going to go back, but it's not going to get all the way back. Bayliss is on. I think he's riding well enough. When you go back to its run 3 runs back at Morfettville, its final 200 was the best of the day by 0.32 seconds. It was a significant best last 200 of the day. This is a horse that I think if they just have it right on the day, it's got tongue tie on, blinkers on, lugging bit on. I think they've got all the gear there. It's set to run.
Regan Bayliss is a Group 1 winning jockey. He's a very good rider.
Yeah. I just think it's the standout for me in the race that, I'm getting 20s. Mm-hmm. I'm looking around going, well, what else can I back in the race? Maybe, I love the Bright Oak stable, especially with Oliver on, but it's about the right price. It looks to value the day, Crockett.
fair enough. I agree with everything you said there, Drew. Which is, so you're happy to back Crockett?
Yeah, each way.
And Nick's just going to absolutely let him line up and back Ruben Blue with him on the fair.
Yeah, place lay, I reckon.
Oh,
yeah, lay it each way. Fill up. So happy to go into race 5.
Race 4.
Yeah, let's go race 4.
Race 4. That's it. They didn't teach me to count very good. That's why I do me money at the races every day of the week. Let these punters on. Race 4, we've got another Royal Blue Jacket. Harmattan at around the 370 mark. Bellaria, Horse of Weirs, 5.5. Spannerhead 650, which might be a bit. I think that's a bit short myself.
Yeah.
Maraquita 750, double figures the rest. Righto, Nick.
Spannerhead 650, I think.
Well, speaking of the Blue Jackets, just a bit of stats on them lately. As an overall, so Sydney and Melbourne, last 14 days have had 38 runners, 9 winners, 23.7%. Profit and turnover around 51%, nearly 52.
Wow.
So they are absolutely airborne, and first up stats around 37.5% first up last 14 days. Deadly.
So does these stats mean this horse is going to win?
Well, it'll be bloody hard to beat off its jump out. Jumped out well there at Flemington. Looked a sharp piece of work. What price is it now? Yeah, $3.80. I had it around that sort of price. She looks hard to beat here. She has to make that step up from 3-year-old fillies grade now to mares grade, but these aren't sort of the best mares ever going around. They're an average bunch and pretty all sort of well lined up. They're winter grade mares. Around $3.80. I wouldn't be talking you out of having a bet on her. The horse I did find in the race, so I think it's the outside of the field at the moment, at around, near enough. It's around $23. My man again, Zachy Spain, found him again on a leader for Mick Price in Special Diva. Her win 2 starts ago there at Sound where she beat Bellaria was very good. She did have the race run in her favour, but with the speed map here, she could get that again. There's sort of no real likely leader.
Oh, not only did I quote the wrong race, I didn't read out the speed map. So yeah, Special Diva and Shenandoah near the pace and La Portega up there as well. So yeah, I think it does map near the lead Special Diva.
I'm pretty sure. I reckon they've got one option here, and that's to lead. You go back to a run where she beat Bellaria Hussey's Glow. She led around sort of 11 lengths below early, and she had the lead to herself. If you can do that again here, I think the market is sort of putting a line against her because her last start run in the Mildura Cup where she sat on a brutal tempo, around 9 lengths above early, sat on that tempo with horses like Ashlaw and the like. Everything out of that race dropped out. They set it up for the swoopers. She still crossed the line with Ashlaw. What price would he be in a race like this? I just think that tempo that she went out early, she wasn't really suited to that. $23, I think she's the best value on the day, and I'm happy to play. I marked her much shorter than that, given she did beat Bellaria their last start. Bellaria's $6.50 and she's $21.
I think you're right there. I think you are right, Drew.
My problem with the race as well is no speed runner, so obviously you've gone the way of taking the horse that's going to be most advantage, and it's always a smart way to play. So I got no knocking on that. I would say the 2 best horses in the race in terms of if they'll get the right race run, which is a question, would be Harmattan obviously. But really, the one that I'm looking at is Mark Quilter. Now, the real problem is the speed map for this horse. It just goes back. It's going to have to run on. 1200 up to 1400 really suits it, but I'm just not sure it's going to get the run that it needs on the day.
With her, she was suited off that slow speed last start. So
yeah.
Do that again here. Like, if they go slow early and she's within striking range like she was last start, like I can see why you're half finding her off that.
You're getting an each way odds as well. That would be my lean, but at this stage I'm not looking to play.
Righto. I've got nothing down because I haven't had a real good look. Flemington race 5, I discussed this when we come in. I'm not a big fan of these 0 to 70s on a sad day.
What, 20 horse field?
It's a 20 horse field, but it's not, it's just a filler. It's just filled. These
do people like betting on them? Do you find that, or?
The lower the grade, there seems to be not as much depth as a general rule. This race might be a small exception. Look, to go through the market, we've got the much hyped runner of the Hazes, Gold Mag, at $1.90 in the red. Illumicon $4.60. Dancing Tycoon $10, and Rebellious Lord $10. We spoke about this before the show. Like, Gold Mag has got some big raps on it. I believe Rebellious Lord has been working well, or it's, you know, there's a fairly big rap on it as well. Like, it's trained by Mark O'Donnell, who, if people don't know, is Darren Weir's leading foreman in Warrnambool. So, look, but yeah, generally these races are the favourites seem to win, and they're not big betting propositions.
Well, this makes it tough, sort of 16 runners down the straight as well. Like,
yeah, but look, well, yeah, the Gold Mag for mine's probably short enough having its first run down the straight. But as I said, we've come into the Melbourne Hub of Finance here to do the show, and I've got a shirt on. I've seen clients. I've actually done some work outside of racing today, which is
you probably work today.
It's good because it means I'm going to get paid. It means I go to the race on a Saturday. It's no certainty, you know. You can come out with it, you know, with no shirt, as they say. But yeah, Nick, you've done the work. Let us know. What do you think?
Well, Gold Mag, again, there's just been a few players on these early markets that have had a bit of fun, and they've backed him into around $1.90. I think I saw sort of $2.60 very early.
Do you think that he'll drift? Like, no. You can't see short on that, can you?
No, I don't. I reckon he'll start in the red. I can't see him getting back out. I think he's going to have a lot of supporters on the day just off what he's done on the figures and the like. I can't see him drifting from that point of view. Don't want to be with him and back him at $1.90. Not necessarily. I think there's better betting options on the day, as you said, whilst you first start down the straight. All those sort of things you have to factor in, plus the speed map here. Maybe you get a bit too far back, some punters might be saying. Illumicon's the clear danger, and I think it's a bit of a two-horse race if they both show up. Hasn't been down the straight, but he jumped out down the straight and he was just under the biggest hold you'll ever see. A very impressive piece of work. The knock with him, he's drawn in barrier 2, so he could be on the wrong sort of section of the straight. If I'm looking to push you into anything else, they're the two standouts for mine. If you're looking to have a bet, maybe play those two in the race. I think one of the two will win, but I'm probably not.
Yeah, once again, I didn't mention the speed map, but this is just a cluster.
You got to, and as you said, you probably got to respect Rebellious Lord. He's done some things in his career that would put him right in this. It's just whether he's forward enough to go here first up. But Damien Laynon's a big tick. Oh yeah, just took the words right out of my mouth. With these newer horses down the straight, the jockey choice is, or can be, reasonably important if they get a bit keen and all the rest of it. Like the horses that can get into their action and relax, and then I like to see them unleash. No knock there with Gold Mag, Mark Zara. I think.
Yeah, 100%.
The best jockey in Melbourne, in my opinion.
Yeah, no knock there at all. But it does find a few horses out going down the straight the first time, because there's another one in later on that's plays up down the straight, which is well in the market as well. But right, Drewy, what do you got to add, mate?
I'll just touch this one quickly. There are about 10 runners that can't win. They're literally just running around. Gold Mag looks a group horse, clearly on top for me. I think the price is right to actually still be backing it personally. I have this as a really good horse. I trust the stable.
Do you know how everyone bandies that around this looks like a group horse? I don't think they knew they had a group horse.
When they sent it out at Sandown?
Bendigoat's gone around $7.50 and it's won impressively. And then it's gone around, $3.10 at Sandown and won impressively again. So,
they're not the type of stable, in my opinion, like compared to say a Weir stable or that. They're not the ones to
bet. Do they bet massive?
No.
They could move it? I don't think they do.
No, but the thing is, the Severnville by High Chaparral, it's 4 years old, so it might have had some problems.
Yeah.
Because they would have paid big money for it.
Well, they're talking Group 1s this spring.
Yeah.
Look,
you reckon a Group 1 horse that comes out in the maiden wouldn't start $7.50 though? And if they're but I think they're talking about it because what it's done now, not because what it showed.
Yeah, I can see your point.
In track work, it's because like you see, there's a lot of them. The Royal Blue Jackets tend to be always group horses before they make the track, but that might be because they trialled in Sydney, and that comes back to the other thing. Why don't we get these jump outs of bullshit? We need all named, videoed, and called trials. But yeah, anyway, so
on group horses, I'll just say, if I say something is a group horse, I'll say it maybe 3 or 4 times a year. I'm not chucking that around very often for something that hasn't proven it. Like Under the Louvre, Charmed Harmony type of horses in the past, when I've seen them at Sandown in a BM70, I've said, this horse I want to follow all the way up to group class. I just think this is that type of horse. Can I take $2? Yeah, I'll take $2, to be honest.
Right, Drew, he's gone chips all in on it. He's
not chips all in, but I'll have a decent bet. Illumicon, I just kind of want to take it on. At what it's done to date, main chances outside of it, I think Double Jeopardy just handles the straight really well. It's a really good horse. Tahi's a bit of a cat. At odds, Don't Blush Baby's not the worst runner here. If the stable are finally back on to getting some winners, because they got one at Caulfield in the race 1 2 weeks ago.
No worries. Well, look, let's get into race 6. I'll try and do this correctly. Harry Paw is the favourite at $4.40. Orakai Overlord $7.50. Kaching $7.50. The Statesman $7. Once again, pretty open sort of field, and the Passage $8. Speed wise in the race, once again a bit of a clustered sort of speed map. To be honest, anything that wants to lead can probably lead this. Yeah, Brigadier, it's all iBoogie. This is a clustered race. The speed map, I shouldn't even bother about doing it properly. Speed map means bugger all. If something wants to lead,
I think iBoogie will lead from 18.
Yep. And
then Brigadier, Hardern's probably got to roll forward, and everything else can sort of slot in behind them. But if there's something that does want to go forward, they can get there easy enough.
Yep. For sure.
Tough race. A lot of these horses got question marks on Kaching at 2,000 metres, the Passage at 2,000 metres, Oraika Overlord at 2,000 metres. There's a lot of these horses stepping up to this trip for the first time. The 2 rear runners probably bring the most intrigue in the Yulong colours in the Statesman and also Harapur, both coming off defeats at Sandown last start when they were both sort of fairly hard in the market. The Statesman's come through a very slowly run race where he might not have been suited to that, but I don't know if that's the best platform coming into a 2,000 metre race, given they went around sort of 26 lengths below average early, and then they've sprinted home, so it's probably not the best platform into a 2,000 metre race. But in saying that, he is looking for the trip, and then the start before that they went quick early, and then over there in Adelaide, so he's got that form line, him and Oraiki Overlord there, intertwinable there. The horse I kind of went looking for was Harapur. He looks a horse who's looking for the 2,000 metres, but again, you can sort of half knock, not the base underneath him. He's had 2 mile runs now, and he did beat Mantastic Al Galileo. They're hard in the market in races later on in the day, but he's had 31 days off coming into this as well. Don't know if that's the sort of greatest sign coming into a 2,000 metre, a month off a mile race where it's not been a brutal test. They've just sort of been, dawdling early, haven't really come home either. So,
well, this sounds like a race that
it's very open,
but a little bit of push from the monetary angle, and obviously if someone has a look at him in the yard and can find a winner.
Oh, and you're going to get rewarded because it's sort of $5 plus the field.
They've got to be fit enough to run the 2,000 metres. So, yeah, a bit of yard, bit of push on the punt.
Maybe Fontaine Lad. He's
now you forgot one here, and I'm sure Drew's going to talk about it.
You don't even need to mention it. I'm going to.
Sir Edwin Lancier with Ben Magic Melon aboard. So, what do you got? What do you got for us, Drew?
This is a 2,000 metre type. You've just exactly said what this race is about. There's 1,600 metre horses trying to go 2,000 metres here. Now, I personally like the Passage in the race. I think if it gets to 2,000 metres, it's really well in. I think it's ready to peak. But I just keep coming back to Sir Edwin Lancier. You're getting $13 for a Team Williams horse that is a 2,000 metre horse. It's in a BM78. They're boarded over here. You're not going to get very few Williams horses that they're importing that won't be BM78 grade over 2,000 metres, will you?
We've been sleeping next to the fire, Drew. It's been -4 degrees in Mount Macedon, mate.
But this is exactly where I'll be relying on Dicko from the mounting yard, because we know that some of these horses from Williams Yard have been parading like absolute crap. They have to eventually bring them on, and this may be the one. But Benny Mellon on board, that gives me a bit of confidence.
I think he's the money man for the
camp. Compared to Andrew Mellion later in the day.
For most camps.
Yeah, true. I mean, you look at Benny Milliams on this one, but Andrew Million had the other
early races, Crocodile Rock and Kilimanjaro.
Yeah, but even the later race is on the second horse of theirs, which the first one's now been scratched, which Benny was on. But it clearly just shows.
So what are you doing, Drew? Back in the passage, and so Edwin Leans here, or what?
At this stage, yes, but I will certainly be relying on the mounting yard.
Yep, good. This is good. I can just sit here and sling shit without actually doing any form. Were you betting, Nick, or not?
No, I don't think I'll be betting.
Righto. Race 7, which is
The Ori Star.
The Ori Star.
Feature.
It is a feature race. It's a good race-wise. It's a this computer's just giving me a bit of grief here. Or I'm giving the computer grief. It's a race where those sort of second tier group horses tend to run in. It doesn't sort of get me into spring at all. Like in terms of, we're not that far off. We're in August, but as soon as we sort of get to Caulfield, we get a few more of those proper group horses coming back.
It's only 150k for winning.
Yeah, well there you go. But it is a Group 3. Look, from the top, we've got Home of the Brave, 360, 370, Voodoo Lad, 370, Poetic Dream for between 460 to 420, and then Brave Song, 550 at the top. Speed map wise, once again, they're going down the straight. And group horses, map wise, they've got Chamois Road on pace. Hard to map Home of the Brave, as Nick has just enlightened me to.
I think he'll probably lead.
Yeah,
he showed enough speed in his
there's actually not
races overseas that he could get there.
Do you think though he's a 1400 back to 1200 metre horse? Do you think he'll still have the?
Yeah, but he's fairly quick though.
But it's a different rolling tempo, as you know. The European,
of course.
See, a lot of these horses are run-on horses. Well, they're all run-on horses.
They pretty much all are.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, I had him in Poetic Dream, as Poetic Dream showed some speed in his jump outs when the blinkers had been on. That's when he flew like a rocket when the blinkers went on. Apart from that, he doesn't look up to this class, but blinkers on, he's a completely different horse.
They backed it absolutely off the map when it first up over 1400 metres.
Yeah, and I think he jumped out with the blinkers on again leading into that, which is probably the money that was there, and then they took him off for the race, and he's just an average sort of horse, but with them on, he's, as I said, he's a weapon.
Yeah, but I mean, you're pretty keen on one here, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Actually, I'm going to put my balls on the line on here a bit. I think this is a Group 1 horse, Home of the Brave. He's coming out here. He's had 2 very good trials up in Sydney. The first of them, he was on the speed. He sort of half missed the kick a little, but he has had a while off racing, so maybe just, horses can be like, they're not machines sort of thing. And then here he sort of took himself to the front because he does have that quick early dash. He beat nothing, but he beat them by about 5 lengths. Then he went to his second trial where he trialled against better horses. Again, he sort of half stepped a little bit slow, and you're not going to muster a horse out of the gates in a trial like that. It's not what they're there for. So he just sort of sat him back in the field, have a race a little bit. The way he went through the line there against horses like Happy Clapper, Showtime, like Siege Quebec, he's no star, but they're a good grade of horse compared to horses like Poetic Dream and the like have been jumping.
There's one other thing too, the European racing, they do a lot of more straight track stuff than we get over here.
Yep.
Which is probably a benefit.
Very much so.
And the other thing we did speak about too is this is a horse that, it's a horse in this race which is deep in the market that just goes off its head at Flemington. Voodoo Lad.
Yeah, he can do.
He doesn't sort of handle, a couple of times he's been at Flemington, he's played up, been keen. Got ran down at odds on one day, which was delightful. I know he's hard and fit, Voodoo Lad, but it's Flemington. His Flemington form is just throwing races away, which sort of gives you a little bit more confidence.
Well, he did run second in Newmarket there, but
yeah, I know that, but he has thrown some poor quality races.
He's a tricky horse to ride. I would have rather said like Brad Wheeler or like
Brad Wheeler.
Or someone
you off your fucking head?
Someone who knows the
Jesus
horse.
Christ.
Someone who knows the horse.
Fuck me.
All of it going on.
He's never just ridden me off here. This is no good.
Brad's #1 fan.
Jesus Christ. He'll fucking find a way to get... He'd find traffic in Antarctica. Fucking
back
Brad
to
Wheeler.
Home with the Brave.
Fuck me.
He's Godolphin, Sydney, double tick for that. As I said, they're first up, they're dynamite. He can race on the speed. If he sort of wants to take up the lead, he can run this at any sort of tempo he wants. And he's got some better form lines than these horses. As I said, I think he's a Group 1 horse. He's the best bet of the day for mine. I have to respect Voodoo Lad. the sort of speed, if they don't go hard early, which doesn't look like they will, he is suited to that, and he's got a very good turn of foot.
He has got Damien Oliver aboard, which is probably a benefit.
Taking on Poetic Dream, I think he may want a bit further.
Hey, hold on, I just need to get my head right here. You just said you'd rather Brad Wallera on a fucking horse than Damien Oliver.
Yeah, but Brad knows the horse. Like, I think he's a funny horse to ride. I've heard them talking about the horse pre-race, and they said you can't give him a squeeze out the barriers or anything like, because we have seen him do that.
Sorry, mate, my head's about to explode.
Back in his Flemington runs,
Yeah,
and that's when he over-raced, like you were talking about. I can say, like, Ollie's great, but home of the Brave, best bet of the day.
Anyway, at least you've had a crack. Put the balls on the line.
Yeah.
Nick Noonan, home of the Brave, load up. The other thing is too, if this horse is fit and ready to go, it may shorten. It may hemorrhage. Like I've quickly looked at the fair. There's already been some money traded on the fair on the horse, which sort of tells me that people are relatively keen. So Drew, sorry mate.
Keen, they're jumping out of trees, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Group 3 winner over 1400, placed in Group 3 over 1200, best fresh.
Well, this gets you hard in the jocks. It's got everything you want. Like
trialled the house down, will handle the straight. The only query is if it's a 1600 metre horse, not a 1200 metre horse. That's my only query, and it's top weight. Voodoo Lad couldn't have run any better than it did last start. It just ran into a horse that's potentially going to win the Everest. It'll be peaking in the yard as always. I Am a Star tried really well, I thought, during the week, and
yeah, she did.
Put some claims in here. Probably a bit of overs at the odds. Poetic Dream.
I do not think I'm a Star. They ran the shit out of this horse. This Shane Nichols is just.
I'm not a fan of the horse. I know Dicko, I think, likes it and
I like the
finds
horse.
it from the yard quite a bit.
I backed it when it won Cup Week, and they just
She's had a while off now, though.
Yeah, but they put some work into it. I like, as you've probably worked out, I like mares in mares grade.
Yeah.
I think the stake money's good, and you don't break their hearts against these hardened seasoned geldings. But that's just another Walshy's wisdom on the punt, or Wishy's wisdom.
Poetic Dream, 1600 Group 2 winner, 1200 metres. Is this another? What's the horse that the Hayes got that won the Group 1s over 1200 metres coming from Hong Kong?
Red Cove Royale.
Yeah, didn't they bring that back from like 1400, 1600 metres type distances?
Yes.
They're pretty smart when it comes to finding out what a horse needs. Can't back it personally at the odds, but it's worth considering that.
You have to reply.
You got to respect it.
I'm very scared of it.
Yeah.
Righto, you blokes are dragging this shit out.
I would say that Brave Song, I think, is out of its depth here, and I am surprised at the price. And I would touch on one last runner who could blow them all away.
Ability. Yay. Only problem is Henry Dwyer trains it. The milkshake's not there anymore, mate. No milkshake.
D Dunn on board. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if it wins. It'll present well in the yard, and I'll probably be on it. The hundreds we'll get for a small, small bet.
If this was with Smurden,
yeah,
it'd be well in the market, but it's not. And, Robert's having an extended break. Righto.
Race 8.
Mossendale, $5. The Answer My Friend at $5.50. Night Watch, $5. Barcelona, $6. They're the first 4 in the market. Obviously another even race looking at the odds. Speed map wise, I reckon Sadaka will lead. Mossendale close, handy. The Answer My Friend should be up there. It's not a race with a heap of pace in either, or from what I can see of my limited research on it. But let's talk to the Oracle here.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think they could go quick here just because there's some horses who are drawn wide who want to find a position. So horses like Romanesque, Instant Rev, Cool Chap, like they're all drawn inside barriers. Husson Eagle, they're not going to be wanting to find spots over 1400 metres. They're going to drift back. Horses like Barcelona, Sadaka, Mossendale, and probably Answer My Friend who want to hold his spot up, I think they've got to come across. So that could drive a little bit of a tempo. The tempo is predicted to be fast early, so something there. What do we do with the Answer My Friend? Do we give him one last chance if he's ridden up on the speed?
Yeah, well, we've had a few minutes to discuss stuff before. Look, normally we're in my work office tonight, which is fucking freezing downstairs, and upstairs we've had the heating on all day, and I'm like, look, let's just do it up here. And the answer, my friend, it's obvious a horse with some problems because it's had glue on shoes and all types of gear changes, but you never want to pot Darren Weir because he can just do magical things with horses.
Like he's jumped out a few times at those sort of Western Districts joints like Mortlake and Coleraine, and he's been on the speed and he's gone very well leading. And then in the races he hasn't done that. They've ridden him off the pace. Last start he was sort of a victim because he half missed the start. I think if they have to ride him forward here, I think they roll the dice. If I'm playing a quaddie or anything like, or if I'm you, being a bookmaker sort of thing, I wouldn't be sort of
pretending to be a bookmaker, mate.
Looking to gap him or anything. I'd want him on my side. $5.50. A few things to weigh up seems fair. Horse I found in this race, I found 2 roughies. One of them's already been back.
It is funny mode.
Funny.
I think Seaburge is back to near his best off the jump outs we have seen.
Yep.
His recent jump out at Flemington was very good. He had the blinkers on. He was strong through the line in a strong heat. Marks are on first up. I think this horse is somewhere near back to what we saw sort of 2 years ago where he won second at Caulfield Guineas, won well at Emirates. The stable's very bullish about his chances. They do tip a lot of horses, but I'm with them. I think this horse is back at around, he's been backed early, which is disappointing because it didn't take the price, but he's into sort of $16 now. I had him marked a fair bit shorter than that, given I think if he's back to that level, I think he is, he will be right in the game here if they can make ground. He's an each way play for mine. And then, like, it's a bit of a throw at the stumps. Maybe if you're looking to play like a first 4 or exotics or that sort of thing, Sadaka is a beast horse, 1400 metres at Flemington. He always runs well at this sort of distance. He's never respected by the market. Forgive last run, had his issues there. Start before he's got within 2.5 lengths of Chamois Road, Aussie Choice, and he's run 4th. If you're looking to play like a first 4 or something like that,
throw him in, he's going to be $1 million to 1. Or
throw him in, like you probably get like 100 to 1 on Betfair or something like that. He's not the worst in a race like this, given he rolls on the speed. But
there's one thing that we got some messages during the week about, blokes, what do you do this, do that. Like, I mean, everyone does things differently. I've come from a more old school background through my father and, just blokes of that era who are fucking dinosaurs, but good blokes. One thing with Flemington, I really find some leverage in the markets because all the plastics, you use all the benchmarking and the bullshit basically. The Flemington 1400 and 1600 wide barriers are very much disadvantaged, and sometimes they're not taken into consideration enough in these races. So the barrier draw in this race evens it up a lot for mine.
Well, I tipped horses who were drawn 14 and 15.
That's what I was just thinking. I'm like, because they can get left out, and depending on the breeze,
you're straight out of that chute and you're straight onto the bend.
Matty Welsh is massive on the wind ratings and all that sort of stuff. They're blind in their faces, and the horse can't tell you, mate, I don't like this wind. I'm going to give up the ghost, or they just get the shits and whatever else. But yeah, there's so many form lines and tips and tricks and whatever else you can do. But I mean, at the end of the day, as long as you can keep winning, you're still here. We're still here. We're still eating. We're still drinking. And Drew's gone down tonight and unleashed on $8 stubbies. So it's a start. I'm glad for that because I didn't pay for it.
Yeah, thanks, Dicko.
Yeah, thanks, Dicko. Oh, sorry, Drew.
And they're tomahawks just to celebrate Tom Hawkins for him, his favourite player.
You like tomahawk?
I do.
Big got issues.
Hawkins.
Everyone's got issues here.
Issues? How about losing that Richmond game? We won't get into that.
That was fantastic.
Oh,
that was a great
terrible
result.
Sitting next to Billy Brownless. We almost both cried. Anyway, getting back to the races. Mossendale, quality horse. That second behind Magic Console. You just have to rate it. Barcelona has been below best. It's been up a long time. Its best could be in the finish. Cool Chap's a cat, but it'll run well. The answer, my friend, unknown. Odeon, not sure what it'll do. Mr. Garcia is not the worst runner. It's had a few operations and it could, improve stacks. Seaburge, I'm on the same boat as you, Nick. Quite like it here. Outside of that, want to take on Night's Watch, but there is a bit of rain around, which may very well help it.
All right, so all good. So you're betting?
No.
Not betting either.
Seabush,
right. Okay, race 9. This is a really good race to finish off proceedings, I believe.
Sorry, just international runner in race 8 for Waller Stable, Instant de Rev, open class international, best over 1600 plus, can contest, good barrier, walker on.
Don't pen it.
Yeah, see what it does. Yeah, see what it does in the yard.
Okay, fantastic. Righto, man, fantastic. Race 9, number 6, declared it a few weeks ago. Hope you got on. I filled up. It was good. $2.70. Al Galil, $3.80. Sick and Darabad. Let's see if you sound it out. Sick and Darabad. $5.
They said it like that. He said it similar to that this morning, so you got it pretty right.
Sick and they are bad. I think it's a little, might be a bit of a play on words, is it or not?
Oh, well, there's another horse, there's a Lang Stable one called Darabad, so...
Yeah, or it might be some type of...
relation or something.
Yeah. Sick and they are bad. Sounds like the blokes I knock around with there. And Guizo, or Guizot. I think it's Guizo.
Guizo, yeah.
Yeah, Guizot. Depends where you're from. $7.50. Double figures the rest. Righto, Nick. Last one. Oh, hold on. Speed map.
It's had 9 races and you still haven't nailed it.
Yeah, I reckon Strike Force will lead this.
Yep.
Strike Force will go close to the top. Tanchat, Trusting and Sagaya close to speed. The rest of them will sort of be a few pairs back, I reckon. From there, the ones in the market, Guizo are fantastically back past midfield for mine.
Yeah, they will be, and that brings them intrigue with this race as the map you've touched on, because if they don't go sort of a very hard tempo, it might leave them at a bit of a disadvantage. Horses like Mantastic, El Gallo and Guizo. Think of Mantastic and Guizo. Mantastic since had the run and won, but when Guizo beat him 2 starts ago, he did beat him fair and square. I think advantage Flemington, Mantastic, and probably the firmer going as well. So I want to take $2.60. No, not really. Do I really want to bet around him? No, not really. I think Al Galileo could be the one. Blinkers on first time. He's had a sharp jump out since coming back from Sydney. And then you go back to his run where he met Mantastic and Harapoy runs earlier in the day. And he did SP $2.15 compared to Mantastic's SP of, $4. So if you're sort of looking at that, you could make a definite case that there's probably not that much between them. He did cart Mantastic into the race there, and Mantastic just peeled off his back. The stablemate was too good for him on that occasion, but now since he's been to Rosehill, he's had that 2,000 metre run, Al Galileo, he's had that jump out, the blinkers go on. I'd probably be leaning him over Mantastic. They look at the 2, and then if that's not the right form line and it's a bit junky, maybe Sick and Darabad. He won their last start well at the Lakeside Track at Sandown. I know it was a midweek sort of meeting, but it's a benchmark 78. These horses were only running benchmark 78. It's not too long ago, but he has had the 31 days off, so some concern there. They look at the 3 for mine if you're playing quaddies.
Look, Mantastic, I think, is, if they're able to run on the day, I think it'd be very, very, very hard to beat. Popular opinion of most people, so it's not going out of the way. Team Williams runner, exemplar, Group 2 placed over 1,600 metres, Group 3 placed over 2,400 metres. If it's there into the yard, you can't not have a go at the $18 realistically in this grade. One at odds I thought could run a sneaky race and is just ticking over okay is By the Grace. You get about $71, I think. It's not the worst run I'd be including in my first 4s. Look, I can make a case for Guizo, I can make a case for Sick and Bad, I can make a case for El Ghazil, El Haram even. Look, Mantastic probably the right price. I reckon it will leave them drift. You'll probably get about $3.40, $3.60 on the day. And I would be backing it at that.
I'm against Mantastic. I think we've spoken about this. So look, I mean, Drew's tipping Mantastic in the last. Nick, you're tipping anything, not betting?
I'll be tipping El Gallo from Mantastic. Yeah.
So I mean, let's just get stuck into it. I really, like, I've got to put something out there. When I went through the form, the first thing that jumped out at me was El Galil. I'm happy to make that my best bet of the day.
Oh.
And I'm sitting here with Nick, who's just done my head in with the bullshits with SP and benchmarking, and which is not my go. But in saying that, I'm happy to back Al Khalil, and I think the value of the day is backing Maraquita and Special Diva, each are 2 in the same race, because one will be maybe 20 to 1, the other be 9 to 1, and that's what I want to sit with. And I'm happy to lay Prezado. So, what are you doing, mate?
Race 7, horse number 1, Home of the Brave, best of the day. Then we'll go to race number 4, horse number 3, Special Diva, best value, Rue and Blue, gonna lay him to place, and Seabirch can run a race in race number 8.
Fantastic. Right, Druzy.
Race 5, Gold Mag. It's short, it's sweet, it'll win. Race 3, number 4, Crockett, best value, getting around 20s. I'd say if you're asking me for one horse, I'd be backing on the day. It's that. To be quite honest, I'm that keen to be on. And my lay, it's a bit high for a lay at 550, but I just think it's the one to take on. Race 7, Brave Song, just take it on to win and to place.
No, fantastic. But yeah, look, we're going close to the finish here of the show. So
Case-Bet Cup.
Case-Bet Cup. I was going to say, well, I like the Case-Bet Cup at the end, make the people watch, and we're not going to let it out on Twitter if they watch to the death either.
I've seen some have they open it up and go to the end to on purpose see what the Case-Bet Cup is.
Okay, let's do the Case-Bet Cup. Race 8. Do you reckon race 8's probably a nice full field? We could throw it in the middle sometimes, race, in between.
That'd be smart. That'd get them going. Can I jump in first? I'll take the International Instant Deriv because I know neither of you will take it.
No, that's fine, Drew. What about you, Nick?
I'll take Seabirch.
Now, so if you win, do you need a slab of Coke or 3 slabs of Coke or officiating part of or not?
I'll just be happy with some Betfair gear, to be honest.
Don't say that because the bloke at the bottom's got to put something in, or we can donate it. We can donate it to the charity.
I'll be happy with whatever. Slab of Coke.
We could do you a shave for a cure, couldn't we? Like, shave the mop off. No, right.
How about if Seabirch wins, they donate the $50 to the farmers' drought relief?
That'd be good. Actually, if any of us win, we'll put that in that kick. I'm with Cool Chap. I reckon it has got Luke Nolan on it, which will give it a bit of a handicap, but it'll be running on if it runs the right race. So, race 8, which is the VRC member, Damien Cubello handicap. That will be the Case-Bet Cup. So, load in, Betfair gears the grouse. At Nick Heathcote's had a massive week up in Darwin.
This could be even bigger.
Whining and dining and trying to keep everyone on the straight and narrow, which I don't think he's been that successful at that end of things.
Well, he's going to Sin City, I hear.
He is going to Sin City. There's a very...
I'll clarify that, not the strip club.
Is there a strip club called Sin City, Drew?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's in Dandenong.
You do.
They're going to Vegas at some stage. It's going to be a colourful crew going there. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to leave the house. So, Drew, we've got a bit of a rant here, and I'm pretty supportive of this sort of stuff.
I love my racing, and I went to Sandown on Sunday, the jumps meeting, a pretty good jumps meeting. Rock up 5 minutes before the first, got to rush in, trying to do some in-play, that's what I was there for. Also to see the jumps. Bloody 50 protesters out the front, protesting the jumps. You go in, you try and get in at the start. Sorry, no FPOS. Great start to the day.
What sort of fucking idiot doesn't bring cash to the races, mate? You can't bet with bookies at the moment with FPOS. Jesus Christ.
Luckily, I had cash on me. 2 other blokes who were doing in-play there didn't, and they had to go and get cash out. And it's just mad.
They got their right whack, though. Blokes who go to the race with no cash are just as bad as jumps protesters.
We're there to in-play.
Fucking hell.
But when you get in there and the jumps races are happening, let's just paint the picture. Get in there. I'd say, I don't know the numbers, 1,500 would be very generous in the amount of people there. There would have been 50 security guards.
Do you know what the problem is with 1,500 too? Of the 1,500, probably only 700 paying.
I'm being generous. I'd probably say 500, but I'm just trying to be generous.
Yeah, but they're paying. A lot of them. Yeah, I mean, how much was it to get in?
$10,
which is pretty reasonable comparatively. I think that's to watch the race. But so anyway, so you got in there. Got in the gate after being shit house and not getting your cash out and just
and
fucking generally
by the way,
useless.
at the gate I get asked, do you have any camera equipment in your bag? What a joke of a question. You're at a horse racing meet. wouldn't you want people? Yeah, exactly. Everyone's got smartphones, but wouldn't you want people taking photos of horses to push horse racing out to everyone else?
Oh no, completely agree. But camera equipment, there's the camera on my iPhone, which is an iPhone 8, I believe, is better than the digital camera I bought.
Of course.
How many years ago? Yeah. But
well, I think this is all coming back to one thing. They're trying to stop the protesters from taking photos of the horses when they're falling in jumps races.
100%. The protesters should be shot.
But that being said, is there not an issue with I love jumps racing, but is there not an issue if we have to cover up something that happens in a race? We actually have to go to the extent of saying, no, you can't bring a camera in because we think a horse may fall and die, and we don't want you taking a photo of it.
Look,
like, there has to be, we have to have the due diligence in what's happening to put our hands up and say, this unfortunately may happen in jumps racing. We have to own it. Like, it's a sad reality of the sport.
It happens in life.
Yeah.
It happens in life. It happens in... Look, there's no blue about... I mean, a few of these jumps protesters are vegans and shit, which don't do much for me. But I mean, if one of them sat in there and said, what do you want for lunch? And they had a chicken parma, I'm like, that chicken only lasts 12 weeks. It's been pumped with hormones and whatever else. Like, I just need to get in grip with society and reality. Like, at the end of the day... The trainers love the horses. Like what I've read today about Udetta Clark and Rich Charm being injured and sitting with the horse all night. Like, this is just a joke. And the public who support the horses should be allowed to get in, take photos, take their kids. Political correctness has gone fucking mad. And all these protesters, they should just get a job. Get a job, go to work. Like, people sort of get stuck into me or whatever, or not get stuck into me. No, I'm not right wing, I'm not left wing, I've got my own opinions. I've done an environmental science degree and a finance degree. There's just no money in environmental science, hence I'm working in finance and bookmaking. But there should be a pattern where we can do stuff which reduces our environmental footprint while still being economically viable. And these fuckwits who get to the races with their megaphones and yell and scream about the cruelty.
Lies, by the way. They were, I heard them for 10 seconds and half of what they put out there was lies.
But the funny thing is, they're the same people that read the left-wing articles, and then as soon as the right-wing papers do something pro-right-wing and put a photo up which has been cut and pasted, they do exactly the same thing. Like, actually, the difference between left and right in Australia is fuck all. They do nothing. It's all vote gathering and revenue raising, and they can all go and get fucked. In simple terms, but yeah, these jumps protesters are fucking scum. Like, and this is going to be X-rated, this show, but like, they can just go away. The bloke who got in trouble for tipping his beer down the megaphone of the jumps, they should have pat him on the back. They took him to court for it.
Really?
Yeah, he went to Warrnambool and he leaned over the fence and goes, oh, fuck, I tipped the beer down the megaphone when I had it up. But I can't go... Could you imagine what would happen if they have Melbourne Olympics, whatever year it is, and I went to the equestrian with a megaphone, this kills horses. I would be handcuffed and let out of there. Yeah, I think the World Cup in Russia, they kicked out X amount of... Anyone that's going to cause trouble, Australia's just too politically correct. If someone come into my place of business and stood out the front with a megaphone or stood out the front of my stand alleging things, I could take them to court for defamation of character. The jumps racing community should take these imbeciles to court for defamation of character of their sport, but they can't do that because they probably haven't got 2 cents because they don't fucking work. They just give me the shits. They should just fucking die.
So my rant went into your rant there.
Yeah, no, I've had... The jumps racing was... I went to Bendigo the other week. It was very unfortunate that a couple of horses passed away, but the spectacle... that Moss Trooper Day and Brendan Dressler Day at Bendigo is always a great meeting. I love going there and working. I don't work every meeting at Bendigo, but I always try and get in for that. There's a lot of really good people in the racing industry that get there for the day, and there's people that just like the horses jumping, but the horses across the board, the light brigade.
The thing is, like, if the horse didn't want to jump, it's not going to jump.
Yeah.
It's not going to go in a race.
And then, like, when say the jockey falls off and the horse is fine, it keeps going. They keep jumping.
Yeah.
So it obviously wants to do it. Like, they don't have an argument there.
I can't see how Racing Victoria cannot ban these jumps racing people, because they are affecting the economics and viability of the industry, and they're not doing it for any other reason than to say the horse is, you're pushing these horses through these barriers which are going to cause death to it. They should be protesting out the heroin joint in Richmond, saying, you blokes shouldn't... Why don't they go out there and sit in some of their megaphones going, you're going to die? Because the blokes who are bloody at the lethal injection, bloody drug injecting room, they're more likely to die than the fucking horse jumping over the hurdles. Like, do us a favour, just drop off.
I think
it's going to be a big show. It's going to be a fucking massive show.
I think what this comes back to, though, is perception in racing. And do you know what would have made it totally better on Sunday? If I'd walked in after I'd heard the bullshit the protesters were saying, probably not. But if I'd walked in the gate and there was some investment from Racing Victoria, let's say $10,000, to actually make some signage about the great work that people in racing are doing with rehoming, with the, real stats on how many horses actually are dying at the races. Give us some actual real information compared to the bullshit these guys are putting out there.
Hey, Drew. Why don't they just get, instead of paying the money for security checking for cameras, why don't they get the blokes who just finished their shift down at King Street to come down and then sort out the jumps protesters? Straight out of bar 20 or golfing, sorry mate, on your head. It would have been money well spent.
I tell you, they've changed their security after the incident a month ago.
Insecurity where?
Sandown.
Oh, what happened a month ago?
One of the, protesters got his camera out and got a little bit of a chokehold on him when he was trying to leave.
Oh, it's bullshit. They should be. It's just no good. I just got to be very careful now. Drew.
Yes.
Full victim statement, not victim impact, but victim trotting statement.
Yep.
You got something there?
Yes. Lazarus is going around in America. Got the visitors draw, but look, will I be betting? Probably not. Like I might. But, just be interesting to watch. But I do have a certain horse going around in Germany that I'm really interested in a futures point of view. I wrote an article about it actually a couple of weeks ago. Best Solution, Godolphin runner, Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup target. It's going in Group 1, 2,400 metres. I think it's Caulfield Cup horse. I'll be sitting up at night, waiting for it to run, have my apps open on my phone, ready just to get some futures bets on at different bookies.
Right, fantastic. Right, it's a big show at the end. Come home fucking strong. And I haven't sworn like this on the show for a number of weeks, but they can all go and get fucked. Right, have a great weekend. See you all.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.